Hey everybody, it's AJ from Disney Food Blog. We have a really interesting one for you today, something that the DFB team spent a lot of time researching and putting together. So it's no secret that Disney uses some great marketing strategies to influence your subconscious mindset when you're making your vacation choices, right? No shocker there. Every company has tactics they use to entice you to spend more money. So today we wanted to highlight a few of these strategies for you, since being aware of them can help you to make more informed choices and hopefully save a little bit of money along the way. Okay, here we go. This first one is a very, very important one that I think a lot of people don't realize and need to know about it. And that's when Disney promotes their packages. So when they've got a big discount package or something like that, and by package I mean when they bundle together their hotel room, tickets, and even sometimes dining. They bundle all of that together. This is particularly egregious when they do free dining. What Disney will do when they push these packages is have in the big print and the commercials that you can get a 6-night, 7-day stay with this package. But if you click on that small print or look at that small print, you'll see that the minimum number of days you need to stay to book this package is actually 2 nights or 3 nights. So Disney is pushing in big print a 6-night stay, whereas you could actually get the deal for 2 nights or 3 nights, which is a significant savings if you don't want to stay 6 nights or you can't stay 6 nights. You can actually get the same deal or package for fewer nights, and that means less money. This is something that Disney will never tell you. They say it in very small print, and we always try to make very sure that we make this clear when we write about things like free dining or other packages that have come out, that you need to be aware that your minimum number of nights isn't necessarily what Disney is telling you that they are in the big print or on the commercials. Something else to remember is if you're not in the market for a full package, if you just want a discounted room rate or something like that, you can actually head to the special offers page on the Disney World website. It's a very, very small link way down at the bottom. It says special offers, and that will list for you room discounts, military discounts, annual pass holder discounts, and things like that they're never going to sort of publicly promote in a commercial or anything like that. They are available, so definitely check those special offers. That's something that Disney might not be telling you about and can actually save you big bucks. If you don't want to do all the work on your own, you can also work with a travel agent. We always recommend Small World Vacations. They're great. They have dedicated agents that don't do this part-time, they do it full-time. So you can head over to smallworldvacations.com or just check this link on DFB where we explain why you might want to use a travel agent. Next way that Disney tries to get you to spend more money or tricks you into spending more money, you exit through a gift shop. This is almost a cliche at this point, right? Every single ride has a gift shop that you have to go through where you can buy merchandise and products about that ride or from the park. So that's another way that they do snare you into maybe spending a little bit more than you wanted to spend. So how to avoid this one? You definitely want to set your budget ahead of time. Give your kids a budget too, so that they know how much money they have to spend in the park. Or maybe if they're really little, they can only get one thing, and you have to make sure that that's the one thing you actually want. So just put some thought into it, because those gift shops can be very compelling. So make sure that you plan ahead and make sure you got your budget set ahead of time so that they are not as enticing as Disney wants them to be. Next up is the Bounceback Offers. This doesn't happen all the time, but occasionally Disney will leave a Bounceback Offer in your hotel room when you're staying there for a certain discount off of your next Walt Disney World vacation if you book it before this vacation ends. And it's usually better than the current discounts that are being offered. So the biggest catch here is that you have to book the vacation before you leave Disney World. So they're hoping you had such an amazing time that you can't wait to get back, so you go ahead and book even though you weren't actually planning to book another Disney World vacation yet. So these don't always show up, so don't expect them to be there, but they can be super helpful if you do want to book another Disney World vacation and you get that great offer. That's awesome. But be prepared if you're not planning on doing another Disney World vacation right away, that this can be one tactic that really sort of tugs on your heartstrings, because you don't want to go back to work, you don't want to go back to reality, you want to go back to Disney, and so you go ahead and book that bounce back offer. Now, of course, you are not locked in. That bounce back offer trip that you book, it can always be canceled. You're totally not locked in, so remember that. Even if you go ahead and book it, even if they get you and you go ahead and book it, because it happens to me all the time, once you get home and back to reality and you realize maybe that's not the best use of my money, you can always cancel that trip. The next tactic Disney uses to get you to spend more money is that discounts for longer stays. The longer you stay, the less you pay per day. Everybody knows that little rhyme, right? How that works is that the more days you book on a ticket, on a park ticket, the less each day costs. It kind of tricks you into thinking you're spending less if you stay more days. So a 10-day park hopper gets down to about $43 per day as opposed to the single-day ticket that starts at $109 a day. So you really start to think, oh man, I'm saving so much money, when really, if you were going to go for, 2 days versus 10 days, you're of course not saving money. So people are incentivized to stay longer, take advantage of those discounts, which means, of course, from Disney's perspective, they'll be spending more money to stay at a Walt Disney World resort. They'll be spending more money in the parks, on food and other extras and souvenirs. So staying longer does give you the option of seeing some other things in the Orlando area and having a more leisurely trip. So decide the number of days based on how you like to vacation, not because Disney is necessarily offering you a discount. The next couple of ways that Disney sort of maneuvers you into spending extra money is, of course, the Disney Vacation Club and annual passes. They want to capitalize on our love of Disney and lock us in. Either those 50 years of vacationing on Disney property, or for the year annual pass where you make sure that you can get in any day you want for the next year to the parks. So with DVC, you pay those annual dues. Disney no longer has to market to you just to get you to the parks. You've kind of already agreed to do that for the next 50 years. Disney spends a lot of time marketing their DVC, so that guarantees that you're going to be vacationing at Disney World and spending your money at Disney World instead of at other vacation destinations. Or at least if you do use your DVC points to vacation in other destinations, Disney still has your money for those DVC points. But the trick here is that they lock you in. Once you make that choice, here comes the psychological concept that oftentimes it is your actions that determine your beliefs, not your beliefs that determine your actions. And so if you do purchase DVC, it tricks your mind into thinking, well, of course, this is what I want to do for the next 50 years. And so it's a very powerful marketing tool that Disney is using, and that's why they market DVC as strongly as they do. Same thing with an annual pass. I don't know about you guys, but when I first bought my annual pass years ago, my first thought was, well, I have to make best use of my annual pass, which means I have to go more often. So I've never lived in Orlando. And so for me, that means extra trips to Florida. That means more days on property. That means more days in hotels as well. And so the annual pass automatically locks you in for that year. You're going to make the choice to go to Disney versus another vacation destination that year because you have the annual pass. You've already made the choice to purchase the annual pass, so you have to get your money's worth. And so it sort of locks you into going to Disney more often than maybe you would have gone without the annual pass. It's a great trick. It's a great tactic. Everywhere I know of that has entry tickets have some sort of an annual pass system to sort of lock people in. And of course, as long as you know that's what's happening, that's fine. I've had annual passes for years and I love them. And I love the discounts that come with annual passes. I think that can be a great savings and a great opportunity for people to get annual passes. But it is important to know that it is a tactic. It's a marketing ploy, something that can help Disney get you on property more often than maybe you would have gone had you not had an annual pass. Now, like I said, huge benefits to having an annual pass. You can book early and get discounted booking for certain events. If you're traveling in a big group, having one person get an annual pass gives your whole group access to Memory Maker and all of those discounts, including hotel discounts, food discounts, merch discounts. So it could be a great decision for you. Just be aware of what you're signing up for. The next marketing tactic that Disney uses is limited time food and merch. This is, of course, very popular for merchandise locations, stores, shops, and restaurants around the world, is to have that limited time food and merch because it tricks your brain into thinking, oh man, I've got to get this right now or I'm not going to get the chance to get it. Disney releases a lot of food and merchandise for certain holidays and special events and parties. Everybody remembers the lines and lines and lines upon lines for, the Epcot 35 merchandise and Mickey's birthday merchandise, things like that. And because you can only get these things for a super short amount of time and they usually sell out, you have less time to decide if it's something that you need or you want. So they're very good at pushing those impulse buys. And a lot of these items are collectibles with a huge fan base. So Disney is definitely creating and marketing these products gangbusters. So just keep that souvenir budget in mind. There's no shame in waiting in that line for that popcorn bucket. That's cool. Just make sure you know that this is something that you want to do and it's worth your time to wait in that line or spend that money versus doing something else when you're on Disney property. Next up, the scavenger hunts like the holiday cookie stroll or the pin scavenger hunts or the Epcot festival scavenger hunts. So these are fun activities that actually cost money, but they're fun activities to entice people to sort of bring their kids to the festivals, which is going to make them spend a little bit extra money at the festivals. And with this pin scavenger hunts, you actually have to purchase each individual pin that you're hunting for, in addition to purchasing the process in general. With that holiday cookie stroll at the Epcot Festival of the Holidays, you have to go to each booth and get each individual cookie to get your completer cookie, which means, of course, you're going to buy other things at those booths too. And you're going to be on property most of the day because it takes a long time to wait in line at those booths to get each individual cookie. So it can be a super fun way to spend your day, especially if you're looking for something a little different to do, if you want to get your kids invested in your Disney trip. But be aware that it is a tactic and it is a marketing opportunity for Disney to keep you in Epcot longer and to get you to that festival, because a lot of people don't think that kids are going to like Epcot or like the festival, so it helps them to bring in the families and not just the solo visitors or the adults only visitors. Next up, all the things Disney does to keep you on site. They, of course, want you on property as much as they can because you're going to spend more money on food, more money on hotels, more money on park tickets, more money on souvenirs. So Disney World makes staying on site seem like the obvious choice. You get extra perks like your 60 days out fast pass instead of 30 days, your extra magic hours, free transportation all over the park so you don't have to worry about transportation or your car. They've added that fee for resort guests staying overnight for parking, so that actually, again, incentivizes people to not bring their cars, which means they're going to be staying on Disney property. They're not going to be leaving property to go eat someplace less expensive or to go to another park like Universal or SeaWorld. And you, of course, have room delivery, which means that anything you buy on site can be delivered right back to your room so you don't have to worry about carrying it around, which in itself is a marketing tactic to get you to buy more because you don't have to carry it around with you. So there's lots of things Disney does to say, stay on property, stay in our hotels. It's much, much better. You'll have a much better experience. And there's even grocery delivery now available through Walt Disney World, so you don't have to worry about going off-site to get your groceries. So a lot of these tricks really come down to budgeting ahead of time. If doing an on-site Disney World trip is what works for you, that's awesome. But if you are thinking about saving some money, staying off-site, or trying to eat off-site a little bit more often where things are less expensive or cheaper, or if you want to visit other parks, think about it from that perspective and know that Disney has put all these perks into place to keep you on site and to keep you from leaving Disney property. Okay, let's talk about the dining plan. Now, I know the dining plan can be a great deal for some people, and some of you love to use the dining plan because you're basically prepaying for all your food, and that's awesome. We're never here at DFB going to say the dining plan is a good or a bad choice. It really is different for every family. We have a whole video about it, so it might be right for you and not right for your next door neighbors. Who knows? But it is pretty clear that the dining plan is a way for Disney to make money, or else they wouldn't be pushing it as much as they are. And it is absolutely set up so that you're spending sort of the maximum amount of money for your food. And let me explain that a little bit. So Disney's done their research. They know how much people eat on property. They know how much people eat when they're staying in the hotels. And so they've set up the dining plan to be the maximum amount of food people would potentially want to eat, and they're charging you for that amount of food. They know that the average customer, the average guest, isn't going to eat that much food. So if they actually pay for that amount of food, they're probably not going to eat that much. So they're going to make a little bit of money on the deal. Now, of course, if you can go into Disney World and use that dining plan and use every single credit to your benefit, get the most expensive options, you're of course going to save money. Absolutely. But the average Disney guest isn't going to do that. They're not going to use all their credits. They're not going to spend all that money. And so they'd probably be better off not getting the dining plan. Disney knows this. That's why they've priced it the way they've priced it. But if you just look at the hard numbers, if you look at I paid this much for the dining plan and I would have spent this much on my food, sure, if you use every credit, it comes out about even. But most people don't. So that's another way that Disney sort of manipulates the situation a little bit so that they benefit from most guests getting that dining plan. So your job is to really do your homework, crunch your numbers, and see how much are you actually going to eat. Do you have huge eaters in your family? Do you guys always want to order the lobster? Then the dining plan is probably perfect for you. But if you don't eat that much, you don't eat breakfast, you don't really have that many snacks, you never get an extra drink with your meal, you just drink water, stuff like that, crunch those numbers and make sure that the dining plan is the right choice for you so that you're not one of those people who are leaving Disney World with, 56 snack credits left and nothing to spend them on, right? Another great tactic that Disney uses to get you to spend a little more money are those magic bands. Magic bands are great for simplicity. I love them. I love that I can walk out of my room with just my magic band and don't have to worry about anything for the rest of the day. But they sure do separate you from your money, from understanding exactly how much you're paying and how much you're spending. And this is another thing with the dining plan, is it's all sort of pre-taken care of, but you still have to pay your gratuities and you still have to pay any extras that you end up getting. But anyway, back to magic bands. We've talked about how Disney pushes those impulse buys, and if you just got a magic band, you don't have to take out your credit card, you don't have to pay with cash. It's easier for your brain to not really connect that this is money that I'm spending, especially since you're on a Disney vacation and you're already thinking, well, I'm spending a lot of money anyway, so who cares if there's an extra $20 here, an extra $50 there? Well, it really does add up. So those magic bands, along with you sort of feeling like you're away from reality, you may make some choices that you might not be comfortable with once you get that credit card bill. So keep track of how much you and your kids are spending on your magic bands. If you link them to a credit or debit card, you can check that right in the app and set limits on how much money can be spent on that magic band. And another way to stay on top of how you spend while you're in the parks is to load gift cards instead of using your magic band. If you have teenagers or something like that, here's your gift card. This is how much money you have to spend for the next 5 days. Once you run out, you run out. And do the same for yourself, because you can really save some money that way, I think, rather than just using your magic band to pay willy-nilly. But again, your budget is your budget. And some of you, I know, go to Disney World and just think, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to get what I want to get, and then we'll deal with it when the credit card bill comes. So that's fine with me too. Just wanted to let you know that that's definitely a psychological tactic to sort of separate you from your wallet via that magic band. So there are a few ways that Disney uses popular marketing techniques and sales strategies to get you to spend a little bit more money when maybe that's not what your intention was in the first place. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this one. I know we'll have lots of comments and lots of interaction about this. As I said before, I'm not here to call Disney out. These are tactics that just about every big corporation, big sales corporation uses. These are marketing 101, you guys, but it's always good to be aware and to know that these strategies are being used so that you can make plans to maybe combat them if you're not ready to spend that little bit of extra money at Disney. All right, let us know in the comments what you think. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.